If you got an old hot rod, square body, Chevy, Camaro, anything that you're thinking about doing an engine swap in or want to decide what engine you should put in, well, today we're going to talk about the fun of a small block, the brute power of a big block, or the fuel injection fun you can have with an LS. Let's talk about it. Okay, first things first is what are you going to use your chassis for? Whether it's square body, C10, K10, Camaro, Chevy, whatever you're going to use it for. Whatever you're going to use it for. There's considerations to all of it. Now, I'm tried and true small block Chevy. Now, I've had big block Chevys. And they are a lot of fun. Big blocks are a lot of fun because nothing else sounds like a cammed up thumping big block. From down the road, you can feel it and hear it before you see it. You'll know it when you hear it, okay? Small block Chevys don't sound that way. Only big block Chevys do. LSs, they have a complete own little thing they have. They have their own sound, okay? But when it comes to rumbling, bumbling, ooh, that's cool, a big block sings. It has a voice of its own. There's nothing else like it out there. So, what are you going to do with this? Okay, when I made the decision to go small block in this, because I had several. Okay, I still have 2 on the stands right here that I'm still going to build. All right, in the future for other projects. But I want to drive this thing every day. It doesn't have air conditioning on it. It gets hot down here in the south. Now during the summer, in the evenings, maybe cruise nights, but during the winter, because it has a working heater and defroster and everything in it, I'll be driving from September to April or May. This is going to be my daily. My tow pig is going to get parked and started every once a couple of weeks just to, keep the battery up and stuff. But I want to drive this, okay? And so I built this specifically for that. It's this engine. It's got a little bit of a cam in it. The heads are just stocks, but it's got new water pump, fuel pump, alternator, starter, flywheel, harmonic balancer. Everything is new. Every problem area is new, and it was cheap. The parts for this are still readily available, and they're cheap. Okay, not so much with the big block. Big blocks are going to cost you double, triple what a small block would to put it together. Even just the regular parts, the gasket sets, cams, lifters, intakes, all the outside parts, they're more expensive. The reason that is because they made millions and millions of small blocks from the 50s and 60s all the way into the 90s. Millions of them. Different variations of the same design. Millions and millions of them. Okay? That means it's cheaper for the parts manufacturers to make them because they're going to sell more. They can tool it up. Big blocks, not so much. They didn't make near the amount of numbers. I mean, it's probably 10, 20% for big blocks as opposed to small blocks over the years. Different variations of the big block also. But they weren't as prevalent and they're harder to find. And the same problem was because manufacturers, they got a tool for that stuff. And so it costs them more to make it, so it costs more for you to buy it, okay? The LSs, it's 20 plus years old, platform. I mean, I'm coming on 30 platform. It's newer parts. They're still around. You can still get parts for them, but it doesn't sound, LSs, even if they got a cam in, they sound different. You don't hear it. You don't feel it. When you see a square body that's got LS in it, you can tell it just by the sound before you even see it. Well, that's an LS, because it just don't sound the same. But it's just, I built this because I wanted reliability. Mechanical fuel pump, alternator, water pump, everything's mechanical. I ain't got to worry about sensors. I ain't got to worry about any of that stuff. I just got to, if it shuts off, air, fuel, or fire. That's it. Make sure it's getting air. Make sure the choke ain't shut down or something happened. Make sure it's got fuel, and then make sure it's got spark. And if you check those 3 things, you're going to find your problem and you're fixed and you're up and running. All right, the next consideration is cost. Okay. Small block Chevy in one of these square bodies is the cheapest way to go. It absolutely is. Like I said, if stock replacement parts on a cammed up, headed up, aluminum headed, it's still the same water pump. It's still the same starter, same alternator, same fuel pump. It's still the same stuff as a stock replacement. So you can go a good solid lifetime warranty stock replacement on this, and it's economical and reliable, and everything bolts up. All right. Big block, same thing. The parts are there. They're not as economical as a small block, but it's the same thing. You can get new for everything. Make sure that, even on an aluminum headed thumping big block, you might have to go a little bit bigger fuel pump, but the alternator is going to be the same. Water pump's going to work. Starter's going to work. All that stuff is all the accessories are going to bolt on. Okay. And LS, not so much. Okay. Because with like an older frame, whatever it is, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it is, before LSs came out, they weren't ever put in this chassis. Okay. So you're not talking about just an LS, not just the motor. You're talking about brackets, pulleys, harnesses, fuel system. Everything has to be remanufactured and refabbed to make that LS work in this chassis, which is an expense above and beyond what just putting accessories on like a small block or big block. You have to do a lot of extras. Okay. And here's the other thing that I found out. I don't know if it's like this up north, but down here in the south, I have 2 big, huge salvage yards, right? They have quit picking and pulling and wrapping a harness around and putting them on the floor where you can walk in and just buy them for $500 to $800. It's on a crate, and you just have it loaded back in your truck, and you pay with a credit card. They've quit pulling them. They're now, all those go in the picky part. So it's first come, first serve. It isn't like, so you're going to have to put in the work to go get it yourself, at least down here right now. That's the way it is. But it's the same way with cores for small block and big block. You're going to go to the picky part if they have like an old dump truck that's got, a tall deck or a big block in it, with a granny 4-speed or whatever, it'll be there, and you can wrench it out and do it and get it in the truck, but you're going to do the work. But they have quit pulling them here because everybody started working out of that market because it's 30-year-old technology, 25 or 30 years old. Okay. So people are starting to move on to different things. They're still popular and they're still selling them, but not like before. Now there's different things coming in, the coyotes and all that stuff that everybody's shooting for. So, and all the Chrysler stuff. So it isn't just, when it comes to the LS, it isn't just the motor. It's everything you have to fab to make it actually work for this chassis. Okay. And I'm going to say something that it's hard for me to swallow, but the LS platform is a better design than a small block Chevy or a big block Chevy. It just is. There isn't any other platform out there, maybe the newer stuff, but for the LS, okay, there isn't another GM platform out there that you can pick, go to the yard, pay $500 to $800, do what you got to do to get it in the chassis you're in, and it handle 1,000 horsepower with 200,000 miles on it. You put 200,000 miles on this small block and it's gone. That you put any kind of power adder onto it, it's going to blow up. It's not, the rotating assembly is not designed to handle it. Okay. Same with a big block. The rotating assembly, unless you spend huge amounts of money and buy a really nice aftermarket, not original GM, which they have special everything to handle 1,000 horsepower. Yeah. But you're going to spend the money. But there is no other platform out there that you can spend $5 to $8, get it on a crate or put it in the back of the truck, bring it in, set it in, put a turbo on it, and make 1,000 horsepower and handle it for years. Run after run after run after run, day after day after day, and it just handle it. The LSs are the next generation. They are a better design. They did their homework when it comes to LSs. But that doesn't mean that that's what I want. I don't know anything about electronics. I know from my friends that are LS guys and my son, which is an LS guy, I know from them that there's a lot more to it than just a wiring harness and put an engine in. You have to fab everything, okay? But once you get one done, if I was to like ever decide to do LS swap, I would bring the frame in and I would work from the frame up. It would be the fuel system coming in, the wiring harness system, you know, the fabbing, the brackets and the engine mounts and the cross member and all that. That would all be done first, because that's everything. You have to make it fit, because this chassis was never designed for an LS designed engine. Okay, was never designed. Okay. The other thing is that because they're so old, they are mechanical and simple. I've seen my friends chase wire and harness, because, you know, you're not talking about 5 wires. You're talking about 500 wires or whatever it is. I know it's a lot. I know I'm probably exaggerating, but I know it's a lot. But you're talking about a harness that's like this big around and wires all through it, you know, 80 different colors, you know, different this and you know, this goes to that and this, and you have to make sure and try to figure it all out. And those harnesses are 30 years old too. So the more you mess with them, the more chance you are of breaking a wire. And one wire can ruin your day when it comes to an LS, or one sensor, or one not having a good enough ground, or not. There's so much, you know, there's so much that can go wrong when it comes to an LS, and and I'm not talking about mechanical. I'm just talking about sensors and wires and all that. There's so much that can go wrong that it could be you could have a mental breakdown trying to figure it out. Okay. Where this, air, fuel, and fire. That's it. It's that simple. But again, there is no engine platform that GM made that can handle 1,000 horsepower besides the LS, just stock factory, with tons of miles on it and still just keep ticking like Timex. And I got to bow to that. I can't argue with that. There's just no way to argue with that. Okay. So LS gets a little for that one. Okay. Let's just get to the nut cut on the end of this thing. We're coming towards the end. All right. Now, it's a matter of what you like and what you're into and what you're going to use it for. And the considerations also is, what can you afford? How deep is your pocket? You know, are you building it to sell it, or are you building it to enjoy it? Do you want to go just tooling around town with it, or do you want to go racing? There's so many variables involved when it comes to it. But the bottom line is that there's nothing really wrong with any of them. There's differences in all of them, but they all fit a nook that everybody can enjoy. Whether you're younger, older, like LSs, like big blocks, old school, new school, whatever it is, it's the community of hot rods is filled with, everybody has a different opinion. And you guys are all going to have a different opinion about this, and make them, you know, put it down below. Just talk about it. Nothing mean. Remember, don't be mean. But there's nothing wrong with any of the platforms. They all have their ups and downs. But it's all about enjoying what you do. You know, some of us don't hunt or fish. Some of us still hunt or fish. But I still like my hot rods. I still like the putting them together with my hands and getting elbow deep in it and figuring out problems and working around and trying to get it, you know, fabbing things up and getting to work what you have, getting what you have to work for you for what you want it to do. If that makes sense. Maybe I'm rambling. But I hope you guys have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. Smash that button. Hit that bell. Remember, we have the Thursday night lives, 8 o'clock Central, every week. and we have a good time. We have a lot of fun. Check it out. I guarantee you'd enjoy just the talking back and forth and the questions, answers, and everybody having a good time with it. We have a lot of fun. It's great. So y'all have a great day, because great day today could mean whatever you're into tomorrow. When it comes to engines, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter. Y'all be good.